So today I'm going to tell you the story of how I truly decided to begin again. But first, I'm going to read you
You just gotta be fearless.
I'm going to walk into the frame. Have you ever noticed how nobody lately posts anything but their highlight reels? And to be completely and totally honest, it's kind of boring. It's very intimidating. And I don't want to be that. One of the reasons why I'm even doing this YouTube channel, AuthorTube channel, let's be real, is because every single person, it feels like that we see on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, there's just so many stories out there of authors and people and other creative people who just suddenly make it. And we think, as the viewers, that it was this sudden thing because they didn't post the ugly part. They didn't post the boring part. They didn't post their failures. They didn't post them giving up and all of that. So that's what makes me different. Also, this is my current library. It's so full I've had to use vertical space. So the truth of the matter is that I haven't made it yet. I still haven't even been able to write. That video that I posted last week that was shot in San Francisco, that happened over a year and a half ago. That was halfway through my journey of complete creative silence. Unable to write, unable to even face my books, unable to query, publish, talk about my books, talk about writing, or even pick up a pen and actually write sentences that weren't just right. And I must tell you, it is not because of lack of trying, because I know deep down that I am supposed to write and that I am supposed to be an author. It is my destiny, but that doesn't make it any easier to do when you face the type of rejection that breaks your heart. Here, I'm gonna read you something from my personal journal, which is right here. As you can see, we haven't gotten very far. Here we are. January 12th, 2026. I'm going to do it as dramatically as possible. Right. Today is Monday, and perhaps on Mondays I write. Except Bodhi is requesting his dessert, so perhaps most clearly I am far too busy to write on this Monday. Ooh, we're dropping things again. Maggie, don't drop things. We know what happens when you drop things. Okay, I'm so nervous reading you like my literal writing. Okay. How quickly a dream slips away. How easily we wake to reality. How smoothly it slips from our grasp as sand, a victim to time. How tightly we cling to the certainty of dreams when we are young, only to grieve the reality that dreams do not usually come true. And in the morning, as we look around, groggily and bleary-eyed, the dream no longer fresh in our minds, we awake to reality and blink and begin our day. And at night, after full hours of mundanity and expectations stacked on top of each other, we lay our head down against the pillow and close our eyes and slip back into the relief of dreams. We're going to get there one day, we say. But one day, my friends, the nights will pass with dreams farther and farther apart until you lay your head down against the pillow and close your eyes and slip back into the relief of a dreamless sleep. This is about accepting reality. Dreams are not reality. That's why That's why you can give up on them. That's why most people do give up on their dreams. They finally see the reality that they're actually in, the obstacles ahead, and they prefer reality to dreams. You know, I've always wondered, how can a dreamer give up her dreams? Especially in my teen years, my early 20s, my late 20s, my early 30s, my mid 30s, where I am now, my late 30s. How can a dreamer give up her dreams? But now I finally know. They were surrendered in exchange for life. Because think about it. What is life? Life is family, friends, food, faith, shelter, community. Dreams don't fit into that. We have to wake up sooner or later. And so I watch these 20-year-olds on TikTok, and I am so proud of them because they did something I wasn't courageous enough to do. And that is to put themselves out there enough to get a big enough platform and to market their book well enough that it didn't matter if it was a well-written book or not. Publishers ate it up, people ate it up, and they got published. And they got published again, and they got published again because they figured out the marketing part of it. And I'm not jealous. I'm actually really thankful that that's not the path that I ended up taking, because I don't think that path was ever meant for me and my books. Like, I desperately wish that I had gotten that my big rejection didn't end the way that it did and didn't make me tumble down to the floor onto my knees and just give up completely. Like, I wish that hadn't happened. But also at the same time, here I am, you know? In the last episode, you saw this really beautiful story, and whether you believe it was coincidence or literally a divine intervention, it doesn't matter because it happened. And did you notice the date that episode was filmed? That was over 1.5 years ago. And between then and now, I still have not picked up my pen. You know, if this was like a TikTok perfect happy ending video, today's episode would be the episode where I picked up my pen and I started writing again. And then I started filming my YouTube and I reached out to publishers, and soon I shall be published. But that is not reality. No, I went to sleep. I got home from San Francisco and I went to sleep. And then I got up the next day and I went to work at my big girl job. And I did my best there, and then I came home and I went to sleep. There was no Cinderella moment where the prince runs after her after she drops her shoe. No, like it was just a moment in time, and I just happened to film it. But the story I am about to tell you in this episode is what happens next on my creative journey. Even though there's 1.5 years between last week's episode and this week's episode, this is literally just the next page on my creative journey, the next chapter. The part of the story I'm about to tell you, if nothing else, I want you to take one thing away from it, and that is that in a world where everything is 15 seconds and everything is filmed, sometimes the most powerful part of your creative journey, first of all, isn't filmed in real time. But second of all, it doesn't take 15 seconds. It doesn't take a day. It doesn't take a week. It takes months. It takes years. I mean, there are authors out there where this part of their creative journey, it took decades. And you have to trust the timing of your life, because if you rush it, then you don't get the depths of experience that you need to be the author that you want to be. And you can't ever film that experience in real time because you can never truly feel the depths that you need to feel while having a camera on you. And so there is a little bit of my generously delicious acting skills. But the thing is that this is a pivotal point. This is a pivotal plot point. And it's a key moment, and it's not just in my story, but it's a key moment for this actual AuthorTube and the story that I'm weaving through kind of this AuthorTube channel. And this was an actual moment in my life. And why am I showing it to you? because one day, 100, 200 years from now, I really hope that there's a woman watching this. And she's just like me. She tried really, really, really hard and she got so close and then she failed and she gave up. And yet the stories inside of her were so loud and the characters in her mind so vivid that fundamentally she could not actually truly give up. But she is like me. You don't know what to do next. You don't know how to make this dream happen because you tried to make it happen and it ended in an extremely horrible failure and rejection. And maybe you're like me and all you've gotten are closed doors. And so I speak to you, my darling reader, from 100, 200, however many years ahead in time. And if that's you, first of all, how's the future? I hope you enjoy my books. Second, you know my ending. You know where my books end up. And I don't. When I'm filming this, I literally have no idea. I am in the depths of the silence and I am digging my way out because I know that there is light if I just keep digging. This is real. This is my literal journey. This is not me looking back and being like, let me tell you about how I wrote on a napkin my first book. No, this is me in the depths of silence. And I hope you find that more encouraging than I could ever dream. When you look back on this moment, I want you to know this actually happened. April 22nd, 2026. It happened, dear reader. The moment broke, this long, dwindling, incapacitated failure, like a thick veil over my life, washed away to the tune of How Great You Are. God was there, and so was Bodhi, but it was a lot more poetic than that. It was a Tuesday, last Tuesday night, and it was raining. Scott was working. Pup and I finished watching the first season of The Promised Land, and as I watched the actors playing the Israelites consecrate the temple for the first time, it was like I saw the same message in surrealistic layers. I saw the same message in surrealistic layers, like surreal plus realistic. The Israelites in Exodus had no idea what they were doing, what they were building, the literal foundation of Christianity. And they were very imperfect, and they were meandering in the desert and had only what they had. And yet, they followed the instructions given to them. And the architect created something, and the musicians sang a song, and the sacrifice was engulfed in flames, and everyone fell to their knees to worship, and they were nobody. And yet, to God, they were everything. But God didn't ask them to go make a bunch of money and give it to him. He didn't ask them to lose a bunch of weight and look beautiful. He didn't ask them to fundamentally change to be a perfect version of themselves, capable and with proven dogmas of achieved success. He asked them to take the creative abilities they had. He had already made them with these creative abilities before they were born, and make something for him and then give it to him. He didn't ask for perfection or a desired outcome. He simply asked for obedience. I'm not trying to sound religious. He simply asked them to do it, and they did. And because they loved him, they did their best. And then my mind peeled back the layer of pretend and saw the actors doing the exact same thing. And another layer behind the camera, and I saw the writers and the directors and the producers, the ones with the idea before it was anything else, and that's what they did. And how many times I've read Exodus, and that's what the real humans in the desert did. And one more layer as tears streamed down my face at how beautiful the worship this comedy ended with turned into. I saw the lead actress dancing and singing this song her character wrote, and she got into her creative flow and used her art to truly worship so freely, so beautifully, the only one standing because she was performing her song for God, just like a father would love to watch his daughters do. I saw me, his daughter, his writer, and that, dear reader, was the moment, because I don't want to give up anymore. It's not just time, it's the time. So I stood up and I moved to my piano and I played a few songs of precious memories, flipping through, singing to God, and my voice, it had returned. After all these years of singing off key, it was back. So I sang, and when I got to "How Great Thou Art," I lingered, repeating the lines over and over and over again until the words began to change to honesty, confession, and God listening as I sang from the depths of my heart all the words I haven't been able to write for over 2 years. And to the tune of "How Great You Are," I told him all the reasons I'm not good enough to do what he is asking me to do, and all the true and untrue faults I have witnessed in myself, and all the ways I've let him down, and all the proof I can't be relied upon, and all the synonyms of how I'm not even a good person. It went on for hours, and then the chorus finally came. "How great you are," then sings my soul. "How great you are. How great you are," then sings my soul. "How great thou art." The tears choked me, but my fingers kept playing, and his voice took over, a soft yet earnest whisper blending into the keys. That's the point, because the glory is his. His scriptures are filled with him choosing the people who aren't good enough. They stammer and they run away and they forget and they do horrible things, but their hearts are his, and he knows every word scribbled on their walls, every shadow, every true desire, every not enough. But he chose them because they had everything they needed to have, so he could do the rest. Obedience is the point, not the outcome. And to the tune of "How Great Thou Art," on a rainy Tuesday in April, I sang to God late into the night all the reasons I couldn't, until he turned the page. And then came the chorus. I miss my characters, I miss my pen, I miss writing. I know YouTube has to be part of it, but that's just obedience, not perfection wrapped up as expectation. How good it feels to be holding a pen again. How great you are, God. And so, my dear reader, my dear viewer, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And if you are on the same journey as me, or anything about this video spoke to you, please support and like and subscribe and leave me a comment. You know, it doesn't need to be brave. Be the first one to leave a comment. Yeah. So I guess I'm ready to try again.